The calm of space was broken by a distant but growing storm. An armada, unlike any the galaxy had seen before, was moving toward Earth. Their ships were enormous, stretching hundreds of meters across, built with armor so thick and advanced that no known weapon could pierce it. The alien fleet moved like a shadow across the stars, silent but deadly, carrying the weight of a mission set in cold determination: conquer or destroy humanity on Earth.
Ow.
The first signs were subtle blips on radar, strange signals detected by deep space probes, and warnings from military outposts watching the skies. At first, many thought these signals were glitches or a new kind of space weather, but soon the truth became undeniable. Ships covered in gleaming black armor appeared beyond the moon, blocking the sun's light in an eerie dance of silence. In shadow, in the United Nations Emergency Council chamber, leaders from all nations gathered, faces tense, eyes wide with fear and disbelief. The screens showed live images from satellites revealing the massive alien ships preparing for attack. The room buzzed with nervous energy as military experts debated their options. But the truth was Grimmearth's weapons, from missiles to energy cannons, had no effect on the alien armor. Admiral Ruiz, commander of Earth's Space Defense Fleet, stared at the monitor, his jaw tight. "We have never faced anything like this," he said. "Their armor is unlike anything in our records. No missile, no laser, no plasma weapon can break through. Our fleets are outmatched." Panic began to spread among the population as news outlets broadcast the grim reports. Cities across the world saw people stopping in the streets, looking up at the sky in shock and disbelief. Governments urged calm, but the fear was real. The alien fleet's arrival was a message. Humanity was about to be judged. And the verdict was harsh, but beneath the surface of fear, a quiet confidence stirred in secret. In underground bunkers and remote research stations, scientists and engineers were ready to reveal something the invaders did not know. A weapon born of human ingenuity and fierce will, a weapon that could shatter the strongest armor. In a hidden complex in the deserts of Nevada, Dr. Alina Morgan stood before a massive machine. It was a railgun, a weapon that used powerful electromagnetic fields to launch projectiles at incredible speeds, far faster and more destructive than any missile. Years of secret research had gone into perfecting it, but this was the moment it would face its true test. Elena's voice was calm but full of determination. "They believe their armor makes them invincible. We're about to prove them wrong." Outside the lab, the alien fleet began its final approach, casting long shadows over Earth's surface. The air was thick with tension as the countdown to battle began. Around the world, soldiers prepared for the fight of their lives. Fighter pilots checked their ships, engineers readied defenses, and ordinary citizens hoped against hope. Then, with a thunderous roar, the first railgun fired. A projectile, glowing with intense energy, streaked through the sky faster than anything the human eye could track. It hit an alien cruiser with a sudden, shattering force. The ship's armor, thought to be impenetrable, cracked and exploded in a shower of sparks and fire. The silence of space was broken by the chaos of battle. The alien commanders were stunned. "Impossible," one hissed. "No armor should break like that." But the railguns kept firing, one after another, each shot tearing through the alien fleet's defenses. What the invaders had not counted on was humanity's secret weapon. The railgun was a symbol of Earth's resilience, of a species unwilling to surrender. As the battle spread across the stars above Earth, the world watched in disbelief. The invaders' ships, once thought invincible, were falling one by one. The galaxy began to whisper. No armor could stop. Humans and their railguns were rewriting the rules of war. Yet, even in victory, there was danger. The aliens adapted quickly, sending new ships and weapons designed to counter the railguns. The fight was far from over, and Earth's defenders knew the coming days would demand all their courage and strength. But for now, humanity had stunned the galaxy with a powerful truth: no armor could stop humans. The quiet calm that followed the first shot was a moment of disbelief for both sides. On Earth, The command centers buzzed with a mix of hope and urgency. The railguns, once an experimental idea whispered about in secret meetings, were now the spearhead of humanity's defense. Their electromagnetic pulses launched metal projectiles, faster than any conventional weapon. Piercing through the alien armor with terrifying ease, Dr. Alina Morgan stood at the forefront of this new era. She watched as data flooded in from satellites and frontline ships. Every shot fired was a message, a declaration that humanity would not be broken. The railguns had changed the war, but this was only the beginning. Across the dark void of space, the alien commanders scrambled to respond. Their pride was wounded deeply. Their armor, crafted over centuries and hailed as invincible, was cracking under the relentless fire. Commander Vrax, leader of the alien armada, barked orders. Adapt. Find the weakness in their weapon. Ain't no more losses from these railguns. The alien engineers worked feverishly, deploying new defensive drones and electronic shields designed to disrupt the railguns' electromagnetic pulses. But human ingenuity was just as fast. Engineers on Earth modified railgun firing patterns and ammunition types. Experimenting with shapes and speeds to outsmart the alien defenses, the battlefield became a deadly game of cat and mouse. Every attack was met with a counterattack. Every advance faced resistance. But the humans had something the aliens did not. Creativity born from desperation and the unbreakable will to survive. Human pilots flying fighter crafts used the railguns. Advantages to strike quickly and retreat before enemy weapons could react. One such pilot, Lieutenant Marcus Hayes, became a legend overnight. His small squadron darted between enemy ships, firing railgun shots that tore holes in the alien fleet's formation, then vanished into the shadows of space. His courage inspired others. Ordinary people became heroes. On Earth, civilians followed. The battles on news feeds, their fear mingling with pride. They saw images of alien ships exploding in brilliant flashes, of human ships moving like ghosts through enemy lines. The railguns had turned the tide, but the cost was heavy. Each victory came with loss of soldiers who never returned home. Cities preparing for what might come next, the aliens did not give up. They launched new deadly attacks aimed at human supply bases and railgun production sites. One such attack targeted a remote facility in Siberia, home to one of the largest railgun arrays. Explosions shook the frozen landscape as human defenders fought desperately to hold the line. Back in the command bunker, Alina watched the live feeds, her heart pounding. The railguns were powerful, but the aliens' new tactics were dangerous. "We must keep improving," she told her team. "Our weapons are strong, but they are learning. We can't let them catch up." The battle expanded beyond Earth's orbit. Human ships carried railguns into space, striking at alien outposts and supply ships, forcing the invaders to stretch their resources thin. Weapon. It was a symbol of humanity's defiance. As the war grew more intense, unexpected challenges arose. The aliens developed electronic warfare systems aimed at jamming human targeting sensors, forcing pilots to rely on instincts and old-fashioned skill. Engineers worked overnight to develop countermeasures, creating a technological dance of attack and defense. Despite the pressure, humanity's spirit refused to falter. Every railgun shot fired was a reminder Earth would not be defeated. The alien fleet might have thought their armor would protect them, but humans had shattered that illusion in moments. Now, the fight was about who would adapt faster, who would outsmart the other in a deadly battle of wills. And in this war, one thing was clear: no armor could stop humans when they fired their railguns. The roar of battle had turned into a relentless storm. The railguns had shattered the enemy's armor, but the cost was heavy. Earth's skies burned with fire and smoke. Cities trembled under attacks, and the screams of loss echoed in hearts worldwide. Every victory came with a price that weighed on the souls of those who fought and those who waited. In the once bustling streets of New York, now scarred by explosions and debris, families huddled in shelters. Children, too young to understand the full danger, clung to their parents' hands, eyes wide with fear and hope. Outside, emergency sirens wailed, constant reminder that the war was still raging. Lieutenant Marcus Hayes, the pilot who had become a symbol of hope, faced his own battle within. Each mission pushed him closer to the edge. He had lost friends, comrades who had become family in the vast loneliness of space. Yet, every time he climbed into his fighter, he remembered what he was fighting for: home, loved ones, the future of humanity. Across the world, the war's toll became personal stories of courage and heartbreak. In a small town in Brazil, Maria, a nurse, worked tirelessly in a makeshift hospital. The wounded kept arriving: soldiers burned by alien plasma, civilians injured in attacks. She held hands, whispered comfort, and fought against despair with every breath. "We will survive," she told those around her, her voice a steady flame. But the alien fleet was ruthless. Knowing their armor was failing, they targeted railgun production sites, attempting to cripple humanity's advantage. The battle in Siberia was only one of many fierce clashes. Earth's defenders fought with grit, but the enemy's relentless. Strikes strained resources and stretched defenses thin. The true cost of victory was clear. Railguns could break armor, but they could not stop pain, loss, or sacrifice. The war had become a test of endurance, of spirit. Despite the hardships, humanity's will grew stronger. Stories of heroism spread like wildfire, of soldiers risking everything to save civilians, of engineers repairing broken railguns under fire, of communities rising to rebuild what was destroyed. These acts of bravery became the backbone of Earth's resistance. In the heart of the command center, Dr. Elena Morgan felt the weight of responsibility. The railguns were powerful, but this war was not won by weapons alone. "Our strength is in our people," she said to her team. "Their courage, their hope, this is what will carry us through." Yet, in the shadows of this brutal fight, new threats lurked. Alien spies and saboteurs tried to infiltrate Earth's defenses, seeking to weaken humanity from within. Trust became a rare commodity, and every success was hard-won. As the battle for survival dragged on, it became clear: the war was no longer just about railguns or armor. It was about the unbreakable human spirit standing tall against impossible odds. And though the price was high, humanity refused to back down. Behind the roar of battle and the flash of railgun fire, a quiet story of human genius and ancient mystery was unfolding. Deep inside a hidden research facility, Dr. Elena Morgan and her team worked day and night to understand and improve the technology that was now humanity's greatest weapon. The railgun was no simple machine. It was the result of decades of science, discovery, and a secret handed down through generations. The origin of the railgun's power was tied to a rare material discovered in a forgotten asteroid belt, a mineral that could generate immense electromagnetic fields. Combining this with advanced engineering, human scientists created weapons that fired metal slugs at hypersonic speeds, capable of punching through the toughest alien armor. But the story didn't end there. Ancient human texts, buried in the libraries of old civilizations, hinted at principles of energy manipulation long lost to time. The modern railgun was a rebirth of that forgotten knowledge, fusion of old wisdom and cutting-edge science. As the team studied every shot fired, analyzing the railgun's effects on alien ships, they discovered new ways to make the weapon even more powerful. Variations in projectile shape, speed, and electromagnetic frequency could target weaknesses in enemy defenses previously unknown. The research gave hope that the war could be won, but it also revealed a new danger. The aliens, smart and quick to adapt, had begun to develop countermeasures specifically designed to destroy railguns. New ships arrived, equipped with electronic jammers that disrupted the electromagnetic pulses and missiles with armor-piercing warheads aimed at railgun batteries. One devastating strike hit a key railgun base in the Australian outback, knocking out several weapons and taking many lives. The attack sent shockwaves through Earth's defenses and the public alike. In the war rooms around the world, leaders debated how to respond. Some called for retreat and regrouping, while others insisted on pushing forward. The tension was high. Failure to protect the railguns meant losing their edge in the war. Dr. Morgan and her engineers raced against time. New shielding technologies were tested, and electronic countermeasures were developed. The lab buzzed with energy and hope, but the pressure was immense. Every failure meant lives lost. Every success could turn the tide. Meanwhile, on the front lines, human soldiers adapted to the changing battlefield. Training shifted to counter the alien jamming systems, and pilots learned to operate under extreme electronic interference. Small teams of specialists were sent to disable enemy jammers, risking capture or death to keep the railguns firing. Even as the aliens launched their new weapons, human resilience shone. Battles became a high-stakes game of technology and willpower. Railguns, once unstoppable, now faced their greatest test. But with every challenge, humanity found a way to push back harder. The secret behind the railgun was not just in its technology, it was in the people who built it, fought for it, and believed in it. The war was far from over. But with knowledge, courage, and relentless spirit, Earth's defenders prepared for the battles to come, knowing that the survival of humanity depended on it. The war that had once seemed so desperate began to change. Against all odds, humanity was pushing back. The railguns, strengthened by new discoveries and fierce determination, became the spearhead of Earth's counterattack. The alien fleet, once confident in its armor and power, now faced an enemy that would not be beaten so easily. On the front lines, human pilots flew with a new fire. Lieutenant Marcus Hayes led daring raids deep into enemy territory. Using railgun fire to dismantle supply ships and command vessels, his squadron worked like shadows, striking fast and vanishing before the aliens could respond. Their successes boosted morale not just among soldiers, but across all of Earth. At the same time, new alliances began to form beyond Earth's orbit. A faction of the alien coalition, disturbed by the brutality and uncertain of the true goals, reached out quietly to humanity. They brought vital information about alien weaknesses and technology, opening a new path to victory. Earth's leaders met secretly with these envoys, weighing trust against survival. Back on Earth, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to adapt railgun technology for these new allies. Together, they developed improved weapons and tactics, combining human innovation with alien knowledge. The battlefield grew more complex and dangerous, but humanity's side was gaining strength. In one daring operation, human and allied ships launched a surprise attack on the alien flagship. The battle was fierce, with explosions lighting the dark void of space. Railgun shots tore through the flagship's armor, and human soldiers fought aboard enemy decks. The flagship, once a symbol of alien power, was crippled. The victory sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. Commander Vrax's forces were no longer invincible. Tide had turned. But with victory came new challenges. The alien coalition was fracturing, and some factions prepared to unleash more desperate and deadly weapons. Earth's defenders braced for the battles ahead, knowing the war was not yet over. Across the globe, ordinary people watched these battles with hope and fear. The stories of bravery pilots like Marcus, scientists like Alina, and countless unsung heroes became legends that inspired the next generation to stand strong. The turning tide was not just about weapons or strategy. It was about courage, unity, and the unyielding human spirit, as the stars above flickered with distant battles. Humanity prepared to push forward to fight for their planet, their future, their place in the galaxy. The final battle was more than a clash of weapons. It was a test of the human spirit. The alien fleet, once vast and unstoppable, was now broken and scattered. Earth's defenders, united and strong, prepared to end the war that had pushed them to their limits. In the command center deep beneath Earth's surface, Dr. Alina Morgan watched the screens with a mixture of exhaustion and hope. The railguns had done what no other weapon could. Ships that were once thought invincible exploded in brilliant flashes. The aliens' will to fight was fading. Above the planet, fighter pilots like Lieutenant Marcus Hayes flew with precision and courage. Each railgun shot was a message. Earth would not fall. Battleships moved in perfect formation, supporting one another as they struck with power and speed. The skies and space were filled with the sound of war, but also with the sound of hope, despite the destruction. Humanity's compassion shone through. Soldiers helped civilians trapped in cities torn by battle. Engineers repaired damaged weapons, and ships with tireless hands. Families waited anxiously, holding on to the belief that their loved ones would return. The alien commanders, defeated but proud, acknowledged the strength they had faced. Their ships withdrew, battered and broken. Retreating into the darkness of space, Commander Vrax sent a final message to Earth, not a threat, but a recognition of human strength and resilience. On Earth, people celebrated cautiously. The war was not truly over, but the greatest danger had passed. The Railguns, once a secret weapon, had become a symbol of humanity's courage, creativity, and unbreakable will. Dr. Morgan stood before a crowd of leaders and scientists, her voice steady. "We have shown the galaxy that no armor can stop humans. Our strength is not just in our weapons, but in our hearts. This victory belongs to all of us." As the stars shone brightly over a healing Earth, the world looked forward to rebuilding, to peace, and to a future where humanity would stand proud among the stars. The story of the Railgun was more than a tale of war. It was the story of a species that refused to be defeated. The galaxy had learned a powerful truth. Humans were a force unlike any other, and this was only the beginning.